Some cars are designed for practicality, others youthful rebellion and speed. This, however, is designed for a very specific kind of person. Someone who values comfort over flashiness, build quality above gimmicks, a person that doesn't wish to race to the red light anymore. But here's the thing, this Rover is not owned by a retired bank manager or somebody who wears braces and brogues. It's actually owned by a 25-year-old man named Connor, and it was his first car. To find out what drives a 21-year-old to choose one of these instead of a Vauxhall Corsa, let's meet the owner, and you may recognize him if you've been following the channel for a while. Connor, welcome back. Your car.
Woo!
Yes, there we go. Nice to see you. Nice to see you again. This is one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen.
Thank you, man. I smile every time I look at it, to be completely honest with you.
We had a lot of choices when we were finding your first car. What drove you to choose this?
Well, the thing is, obviously, well, as you know, I saved up for a long time to get my first car. I worked really hard, saved a lot of money away, paid for my lessons and whatnot. And at the end of it, I had about, I think it was £1,400 to buy a car with. And for that kind of money, you're just getting like real beat up old little city cars, loads of like Citroen C1s and the tiny little like Peugeots. And I was like, man, like that's not me. And I feel like if I spent that money on it, I'd have wasted the money. It's like, you know, what do I drive? A tiny little car, no space, tiny engine, you know, plastic, cheap seats. And that's when we came across the Rover 75. And I was like, I couldn't believe it when I saw them for the money. I was like, you're telling me I can get this whole massive, beautiful car, full leather interior, big engine. You're telling me I can get all of this for the cost of an old Citroen C1. And that was it. I was sold. We went down there. I fell in love with it straight away. There's a lot of pictures of me in the car, and I got a massive, stupid smile on my face. $1,250 I paid for this, which was a steal. Although I made up for it by ridiculous insurance prices. $2.5 grand for the first year.
God damn.
And you know what? I didn't complain.
No?
Because driving this car, it was worth the money. I don't look back and think, wow, what, $2.5 grand, I should have bought a C1 and spent £1 grand on it. No, this was well worth the money.
When I was younger, I bought some stupid cars, so I was paying similar numbers on insurance, but it's weird, isn't it? Because you don't really mind that much.
When you're looking at valuing your time and your enjoyment, you know, money really can't buy happiness. That's true. You know, it's like, so what? It cost me a lot of money. I enjoyed every day of driving it. If I would have bought a little C1 or a little city car or a little Peugeot, I would have been miserable. So it's definitely worth the money. And, you know, still one of the best drivers of my life is we picked it up, and obviously Lou was there with me. And it was probably one of the worst storms we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
We were 2 hours away down, I think it was Devon way, wasn't it? It was about 2 hours from home. We got there, we was like, oh, that doesn't look great. And we'd lost signal completely, so I couldn't even pay for the car for ages. We were there for ages trying to make the payment go through. Finally, we did that. Then I was trying to insure it, and I had no internet. Their Wi-Fi in their house went completely out. Eventually, I managed to insure it, obviously, but we were there. Well, how long were we waiting in the car for me to insure it? It was like an hour, like 2 hours, just trying to insure it.
Yeah.
So finally, we're like, right, it's pitch black, it's thundering with rain. Like, I'm pretty sure it was lightning and thunder as well. Like, it was, well, I'm not exaggerating. It was generally one of the worst storms I've ever experienced. And I had to drive this home, a big diesel I've never driven before, on a provisional after I've had, like, you know, so however many lessons, 20 lessons or whatever. But obviously, because I had Lou with me, I was able to drive it. It should have been a terrifying experience. It wasn't. We had a lot of fun, and it was brilliant. It was one of the best drives I've ever had. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I was terrible driving this thing. I stalled it. You'll remember every light, I stalled it. Pulling out, I stalled it. It was chugging along. I was in the wrong gears, and the car didn't complain. It just carried on going.
It would have been scary if we were in like a C1 or something.
Yeah, something like, and the things with this is like, you know, you're sat here and you've got all of this in the way between you and whatever object you may be in a collision with. Even the doors are heavy and solid. The back, you've got a massive amount of space, huge engine in the way, so you feel safe and comfortable in the car. But that was a brilliant drive.
Shall we go for a drive?
No. I don't pick up hitchhikers. Anyway, see you later.
All right, cool.
I'm going. I got a business meeting.
Please don't run me over.
Yeah, no, get out of the way. It's easy. I feel like even though it's a big car, you can control it so easily. It doesn't drive like a big car, unless you're going around corners, and then the thing does handle like a boat. But, you know, in a nice straight line, it's a cruiser. You know, you're sat here, you're comfy, separated from the road. You know, you're just sort of, you're relaxed. That's all I can really say. It's a very nice drive. It is bumpier than it should be and whatnot. You know, it's a very older, worn car, but it still has a lot of heart to it, and it's still as comfy as ever.
It's a bottomless briefcase of money. What would you modify? What would you change?
Obviously, it's not a car, so rust is expected and dirt buildup or not. So I'll get the car cleaned. I've already spent quite a bit of money replacing a lot of suspension that needs doing. You know, nothing that's broken. It's just it's not as great as it could be. So I would spend the money. I'll do the other half of the suspension. You know, I'd really bring that up. There's some visual damage I would do to it. Central locking doesn't work anymore. It doesn't really matter, you know, the car still drives, it does its main function, and that's good enough for me.
Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to say that if you're enjoying this content, liking and subscribing would be a great way of showing me that you like it. And if you want to go the extra mile, I've now started a Patreon. You can go over there, it's like £3. If you do that and you dedicate, you get your name in the videos, you get access to DM with me, you also get access to all my videos a week early, and anytime I have bonus content that I think is worth seeing, I'll put it on Patreon if it doesn't make it to YouTube. Back to the video. And your plan actually is to get rid of this car pretty soon, isn't it?
I wouldn't word it like that. I love my car, and I would drive it forever if I could, but obviously it's an aging car, you know, I spent a lot of money on it, and it's just increasing over the years, so it's getting more stuff needs replacing. And the other problem you've got as well is a lot of garages are getting to the point now where they won't actually work on my car. So whenever I've had a problem, I'll call around several garages to try and get the cheapest quote. And a lot of them flat out, you know, as soon as you say, oh, it's a Rover 75, they say, oh, sorry, mate, we're not doing that. We don't take on cars that old. Then the ones that obviously do work on it, it's not cheap. Going forward, a bit more of so it's more of an investment, I suppose. As much as I love this car, you know, it's just going to keep costing me money. It's not, other than sentimental value to me, it's not worth anything financially.
So is there any regret in your mind about choosing this as your first car?
No. I don't regret the 4 years I've had with this car. It's been phenomenal. You know, I spent $1,250 on this car, and the quality it's given me, the drives I've had on it, how reliable it's been for me. No, I don't regret it at all. It's been an amazing 4 years with this car, and I will always look back on my first car and think, wow, like, I had a real nice, special first car, whereas a lot of people, you know, I feel like with their first cars, it's nothing special, you know, it's always something that, like, you can't wait to get your, you know, your next car, you know, your adult car. Whereas for me, I feel like I've already got that. I feel like I've already had the car that I chose, you know, not the car that I had to get.
Yeah, you just kind of skip the whole, like, Citroen C1, Hyundai Getz phase.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You know, I've gone, that's not for me, you know, and I've looked around, found this, and I've had, you know, big, great car for the last 4 years.
This is the Connoisseur SE trim, meaning it's the luxury spec. This came included with things like alloy wheels, chrome trims on the wing mirrors, a sunroof, a full leather interior, and parking sensors. It even has a really cool electric privacy screen. When you lift the bonnet on this car, you don't have to mess around with a prop stick. You have actual gas struts, and underneath is a 2-litre, 131 horsepower BMW turbo diesel. Not some old Rover engine. This is actually one of the most reliable engines ever produced, and it means that the 2-litre diesel is the Rover 75 to have. You could also get this car with a 2.5-litre V6, but as I said, most enthusiasts would choose the diesel over this. This is power for people who want to arrive at their destination in great comfort with a full tank. James May famously said of the Rover 75, it's like a first-class cabin on the Titanic before it sank. You may have seen, quite funnily, on Top Gear a while ago, they opened the bonnet on a Mercedes SLS, and there was a huge, like, space, like a foot plus, that just had nothing in it, just for show. This car is completely different. I mean, the entire area is just taken up by stuff.
But with a lot of modern cars, you know, they have these nice big bonnets on it. You think, oh, nice, they must have something good underneath. And they open the bonnet. I've had this with some neighbours of mine, and it's just this tiny little engine just like sat in there, and it's like, where's the rest? Like, why is it just empty? But with the Rover, I like it because it's just, everywhere you look at it, it's just packed. It's just like a big, solid engine, and it's a system that works perfect.
I like the way the battery has like an entire little box to sit in.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty cool. It keeps it nice and protected. And what's funny is I got an old Hankook in here.
Yeah.
So 3.5 years ago, battery went flat and it was completely dead. And I knew there was no saving it. So I was looking at buying a new battery, and I didn't have any money at the time, like I said earlier in the video. So I was looking on Battery Megastore, I basically looked for the cheapest battery that would run the car. And I found this one. I looked into it because I'd never heard of them before. And everyone said online, oh, you know, they're like a crappy cheap brand. They're not very good. They just make truck stuff, mostly for like the Asian markets. But I was like, well, I ain't got much money, so I'll try it. If it lasts me a year, then whatever, I'll buy a new one. Solid. Never had a problem with it. Starts the car up every time, 3.5 years. It's actually, I wouldn't go and buy what do you call it, like a Bosch battery or whatever. I would just buy another one of these. It's actually, I recommend them.
Hell
Very
yeah.
good battery.
It is truly something special to have a car that you love and you can walk away from it and be proud of it.
Yeah.
Like, no one who has a Citroen C1 walks away from it in a car park and thinks, oh, look at that.
You know, when I come out of work at night, you know, don't get me wrong, it's not a sports car. Yet when I come out at night and it's dark and the street lights on it, you think, wow, I get to drive that home. Financially, it probably wasn't the best choice for a first car. I've spent a lot of money over the last 4 years or so. You know, half the suspension's been replaced. I've had a load of work done all over the car to keep it on the road, to keep it all together. But it's been worth it. It really has.
So what would you say to like anyone right now who's considering doing the same thing as you and not buying some cheap little hatchback? They want something more fancy.
I would say, you know what, even if you buy a beat-up old Citroen or something, you're still gonna have to fix it. So, you know, no, just get the damn car you want. Don't worry about it. If there's a car you want and it's maybe a bit more expensive or it's costs a lot to insure or run, if you've got the finances to do it, I would just do it. Because while at the time, you know, when things have gone wrong, you know, a little while ago, the clutch and the flywheel went, and that was like $1,000 and a bit to fix. Now I've had it for 4 years. I look back over the 4 years, and every penny I've put in this has been worth the investment, you know. Financially, no, I'll never make the money back. The car doesn't sell for much more than I bought it for. Probably not anymore, but the enjoyment I've had out of it is immense, and I would not have had that enjoyment from an old little city car or like get a little beat-up Corsa or a little Fiesta.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you're into cars and you don't want to do what everybody else is doing, don't. There's no reason not to. Get what you want.
Yeah. That's like the message of this entire channel. Like, yeah, oh my God.
Fun is priceless. So, and you're only here once. You can't take your money with you. So spend it wisely.
Exactly. Walking around this car takes quite a lot of time, but it's a very pleasurable experience. I mean, look how much care they've put into it. The chrome trim on the mirrors, the chrome stripe going all the way down, blends perfectly in with these door handles. You have more chrome trim down there, and then the alloy wheels. This is part of the Connoisseur SE package. Chrome all around the doors and these little British flags. That is beautiful. Moving around the back, you have a really quite large back window with heat piping. This boot is one of the most iconic I've seen. You've got Rover emblazoned in the chrome and then the 75 there, one of these nice shaped number plates. Perhaps one of the most recognizable cars ever made. Electrically adjustable seats always work just fine, even if perhaps the driver's heated seat does not work. You must really like having that little clock there.
I do. It's one of my favorite parts about the car, and it's funny actually. So I got the car and it was wrong, and I was like, oh, I'll set it. And I forgot, and then next time I drove it, oh, I'll set it, and I forgot. And then 2 years later, my missus was in the car, and she set it for me. It's not the right time now, and I keep meaning to do it, and I just never do. So I've been in this car for 4 years. I've never set the clock, even though I love it. It's one of my favorite things about the car. And funny enough, I think it's more iconic than people assume, because the other day I parked up outside someone's house, and the guy actually came out to talk to me about the car, tell me how much he loved it, and how he wanted one when he was younger and all this sort of stuff. And one of the main things that this guy was on about, he was like, does it have the clock? Does it have the clock on the dashboard? And I was like, yeah, man, look, you can see he's got the clock in it. And he was very happy to see the little clock on the dashboard.
That's cool. Look how good that is. And the aircon and everything in here works phenomenally, doesn't it?
So the aircon is incredible. I mean, you put it on and it's literally within a couple of minutes, it's like you're in a freezer. Phenomenal aircon. The heating is very good, but it takes like 20 minutes to actually get warm. So by the time like most drives in the winter, it doesn't warm up by the time I get to my destination, so I just leave it off and be cold.
One of the benefits of diesel.
Yeah, but if I'm going on a long drive, perfect. And then the inbuilt speakers are phenomenal as well. I have changed the head unit, and with that, yeah, I got no complaints.
It's a proper command chair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think I might change my mind on Senate. I might book it in Monday to get the bushes fixed.
Really?
Yeah, doing this video and talking about it, it reminded me of like, I love this car, and when I look at it, I can't imagine driving something else. I'm like, what? You know, I look at these like new Volvos and stuff, and yeah, like they're cool, and they have cool features, but like, nothing looks like this.
No.
Nothing feels like this.
For those who don't know, like, Connor has been considering recently trading this in and getting something else, and you've been pretty steadfast on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've loved owning this car, but I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, it obviously keeps having problems which I keep fixing. How much is that worth? You know, should I get a newer car that's not going to be problems? And I almost forgot how much I loved the car for a little time recently, and I've been thinking about getting rid of it. But now, just talking about it, I'm like, I don't know if I can.
I can tell you, to watch a car that you love be taken away from you for the last time, it breaks a man.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
I can imagine. You know, like, you know, your dog dies, your missus runs away with another man, your car gets towed, devastation. John Wick time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it.
This is what men truly fear, is losing the car they love.
Yeah. This car took you from, obviously when you got it, you'd had saved for years to get the money you needed, working sort of minimum wage, a few hours a week, basically.
Yeah,
right?
my life wasn't great. Struggling to get into the industry, which I am in now. So I was working part-time, didn't have a whole lot of money, things weren't great. And that's when I started this, when I had this car. Like, I mean, I'm not joking, when I bought this car, I literally had like 20 quid in my account. You know, like, we knocked the guy down. If we didn't do that, I wouldn't even have to buy the car. So, you know, I had no money, I wasn't in a great position. And then fast forward 4 years, I'm now doing a lot better. I met an incredible girl, we live together. We're actually engaged, so, you know, I've stepped up there. You know, live in a place that I love, a job that I love and I'm making real good money with, to the point where, you know, I can afford to fix things, you know, that gone wrong. But what was funny is when I got this car, I said to myself, I said to you, I was like, if anything goes wrong with this car, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in some serious trouble. I can't afford nothing, you know, to fix with it. And nothing went wrong with this car. When I first owned it, you remember, nothing went wrong. And then as soon as I got into the industry that I am in now, and I was making good money, then it started having problems. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. I owe the car. It's not giving me a single issue when I had no money. And now that I'm doing well, you know, it's worth paying it back. It's almost like the car I kind of knew.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was like it desperately did everything it can to hold off as long as possible.
Genuinely, I had nothing go wrong with it for the first year and a half.
And when you consider this is like a nearly, at the point, 20-year-old Rover, which isn't known for its reliability.
No.
It's nothing for like a year and a half.
So that's one thing I do want to talk about. To the one person watching this who's like, maybe. So before I bought this car, a lot of people told me, hey, don't do that. They're not a reliable car. And I was like, okay. You know, I can imagine that's an old, you know, Rover, company that even exists anymore. I looked in some of the owners group and was like, okay, so people have had mixed luck, you know. So I decided to chance it. This car, in 4 years and many miles, has only broken down on me once, which was 2 minutes from home, and it's because I went over a speed bump a bit too hard, and one of the a very old spring that I had on it snapped out the side of it. That's it. In 4 years of driving.
I know people who've had to spend more money on like a Toyota in the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we got guys at work who've got, you know, pretty much new cars, and they've had to take it back to the dealership because that's wrong with it, or that's gone wrong with it. This wasn't fixed right. So I do know people who've had more trouble than me with a newer car.
But I know a guy, he's like, oh, my car's broken, I had to take it to the technician. And he said, oh, I had to go there, and he plugged his laptop into it, worked on his laptop for a couple hours, and then the car was fixed.
And then it works. Like, yeah, there's nothing with this car. It has the basics you need, like ABS, things like that.
Yeah.
A power steering. Obviously, I always do, but it doesn't even tell you when your seatbelt's off. It, you know, it's from that time period where, yeah, you want to drive no seatbelt, the car doesn't care. Obviously, I do, but... Yeah,
it's for the old boys who fought in the war. They don't need an alarm to tell them they're not wearing their seatbelt.
You know, you look at these newer cars and they've got giant screens in them, 1,000 different assist systems. You know, I get in newer cars sometimes when I drive them for work, and I just turn off like half the new assists. So I don't want lane assist. I don't want it.
Annoying.
I don't want to turn itself off at every stoplight. I don't want it to do this. I don't want to do that. I try and make it more like my car, because that's how I want to drive. I don't want to be bothered all the time.
And I think there's actually very few, if not no cars now, newer cars, that give you the same experience as this.
It's just new enough that driving a car like this doesn't impact safety, right? Obviously, it's got a good braking system in it. You know, it's got ABS, traction, you know, all that sort of stuff that you'd expect in a car. But it doesn't pest you constantly like newer cars do. It doesn't flash up warnings every 5 minutes when you do something it doesn't like. It doesn't try and drive for you. It lets you drive and enjoy it. And not that long ago, I was driving down a 40 road at night. So I was doing 40 and I come around a corner, and out of nowhere, there's this huge deer was there. And I didn't have time to stop. I couldn't swerve. So I was like, I have to just hit it. And so you'll see along here where the fog light is held in now with cable ties, where it hit that and it took some paint off the corner. But I hit this deer 40 miles an hour and I was like, this is going to be bad. Barely felt it. The car was just, it didn't even move at all. It was just in a straight line. It came out, bang, car still going fine. I barely even felt it in the car. I didn't even know I had done it. So I pulled over, checked the car. I was like, okay, that's not great. It's fine. Absolutely fine. It's not even got a dent in the front.
It's like an actual tank, isn't it?
It is. It's like it was like a solid deer hit at 40 miles an hour, and the car didn't care. It was like, yeah, all right, cool. Anyway, you know, back onto the journey.
As we said, this was Connor's first car. He's now had the 75 for 4 years, meaning that whilst everyone else was showing up in Vauxhall Corsas with fake taxi bumper stickers, he was adjusting his lumbar support. People often call cars like this old man vehicles, but I've come to learn that actually old men have had a lot of experience in figuring out what is best. There's no shame in choosing one of these over something more unrefined. There's something incredibly calming about driving a Rover 75. You don't rush, you don't shout, you waft and you glide. You look down on BMW drivers even though your engine came from one. It's a car that reminds you that luxury doesn't mean touch screens and a million smart features. Luxury truly means quiet. Old-fashioned, soft and a little bit tweedy, but it's also incredibly handsome and driven by a surprisingly capable German heart. It's not a car you drive to show off. It's a car that shows you really don't care about what anyone else is doing. All that matters to you is being consistently the most comfortable and dignified driver on the road. Because in spite of what the rest of the world is doing, you value comfort and peacefulness over all else. As far as first car choices go, Connor has made a bizarre but incredibly gentlemanly and dignified decision. And it was perhaps the most brilliant choice he could have made. If you've enjoyed this video, then I'd appreciate it massively if you could like the video, subscribe and leave a comment about your thoughts. I want to say a massive thank you to friend of the channel, Connor, for letting us come out and have a go with this. If you or someone you know has an interesting car from days gone by, please get in touch because I'd love to come and feature it. Thank you so much for watching. Dino Dude Rocket out. For those who don't know, Connor was thinking of... You can vape. What are you on about?
Oh, but I seen you're... I don't know, you might get demonetized. Oh, you're not demonetized in the first place, so I have to worry about it.
This is incredible. Cut him off.
There's a fucking Mars bar wrapper in my car.
Fell from a tree.
What are you doing?
Just making a video about cool cars, I guess.
What cars?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We like cool cars, and this, I think...
Talking about the house.
Oh, no, I don't even know anything about the house.
And why are people driving so fucking slow? It's 40, move your asses.
Yeah.
I got a fucking Sainsbury's meal deal to eat, get out of the way.
We're looking at you, Dacia Sandero.
Fuck. The new Dacia Sandero is just a piece of shit like the last several that came out.
Anyway.
Anyway.